Hello, avid students. Today I'm going to go ahead and go over how to fill out a TRF, a tutorial request form. All right, so up here is where you're going to fill out your first and last name, your avid teacher, the date of tutorials, period, and the subject that you are planning to complete the form on. And for this example, I'm going to go ahead and use math as the subject. For the avid tutor, if you already know who your avid tutor is going to be, you can go ahead and put their name. If not, then this can be filled out once you are in your tutorial groups. This here in like this light orange, this is your rubric. This is what the tutors use to grade your tutorial request form. And remember, the tutorial process is broken down into three categories: before, during, and after. And what we're going over today is the whole before, the pre-work, the TRF pre-work. So let's go ahead and get started. So you are going to start off by completing the topic and essential question. This is where you think, all right, where was I confused in? Which class? And is it classwork? Is it homework, quiz, test, or even a project? And then I think, you know what? I had a math homework assignment, and I was confused on one of my math homework problems. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And it came from my CPM ebook. So that means to get my topic or essential question, I'm going to come over here. And it came from section 219, and the essential question is, what is X? And the topic is more solving equations. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and copy and then paste it into this section of my TRF. You may have to just resize and just kind of format so that it fits. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, there it is. I am then going to move on to my initial question. And the initial question is going to be the exact problem I was confused on. So let's go back to my CPM ebook. And one of my homework assignments came from the review and preview. Or actually, it came from classwork. And it is 2-82 is their solution. And so I was stuck on letter C, so 282C. So I'm going to go ahead and do is copy and paste this question. Is there a solution? Put it into this box of my TRF. And then since there's a diagram, I'm going to go ahead and copy that image and place that here as well. And then I'm just going to go ahead and resize it. And then don't forget to put the source. The source is very important because that is where the other group members are going to be able to look it up and also follow along with you. So this came from the CPM 219, and it was number 2-82, letter C. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead. We are now ready for the next box of the TRF, and this is the key academic vocabulary. So basically, I need to figure out what are some vocab words that I need to know in order to help me answer this question. So I'm going to come back to my resource, and I'm going to think about some of the vocab words that we discussed in class. All right, so I know that I'm solving equations. So equation is probably a good vocabulary word to use. And then it's also asking me about a solution. So I think I'm going to use the vocabulary words equation and solution. So let me go ahead and copy and paste that into this section of the TRF here. And then you also need the definition. A lot of times the definition is within your resource. And if not, then you can go ahead and use dictionary.com to find the definition of your vocab words. But for me, I know they are in my CPM ebook. So I'm going to go ahead and get the definition from the glossary. So I'm going to go to Reference, come to Glossary, and I'm going to find those two definitions, and then I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste. Okay, so here's the equation. I'm going to go ahead and use the first sentence for the definition. And then I'm going to do the same for solution. All right, so now I have my two key academic vocabularies and its definition. Now I need to figure out, what do I know about my question? Well, I have already attempted to answer this, and so I know that I can use the equation map and the algebra tools to help me solve for x. And so I'm going to also put that I know that I need to solve for x. Okay. The next page is your work, the work that you've done to attempt to work out this problem. And so what I did was, let me go ahead and come back to that problem. And I used the Algebra E tool for that for that problem. So let me go ahead and click on it. And so I worked it out, and I also worked it out on a piece of paper. And this here is the e-tools that I use on the left, and on the right-hand side is the work that I had to do on my piece of paper. So for the e-tools, this is what you'll be showing that you, what you already know when you are presenting your tutorial question. So I completed the work following the work on my paper, and so I have to flip these tiles. And so I'm doing this, and then I know I need to remove 0 pairs. And then I know I can do a legal move, which is remove an x from both sides. And so then this is where I got stuck. I'm asked to solve for x, but since I removed an x from both sides, I end up with -6 1 tiles on the left and -6 1 tiles on the right. And that here on the right-hand side of my work is also what I showed on my paper. So this is the part where I got confused on, and that's why there's a question mark. So if I come back here to my TRF, what I'm going to do is insert my work. So I'm going to go ahead and upload the image. I'm going to take a picture of the work that I did, and I'm going to find it and upload it into this critical thinking part. So here is my work. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my steps. So I added a table. And so for my first step, what I did was write out the original expression. For my second step, I flipped, or I took opposite of what's inside the parentheses because there's a negative in front. For my third step, I combined like terms and removed 0 pairs. And then for my fourth step, I removed -x from both sides. And fifth, I was left with -6 equals -6. And so this is the part where I was confused and didn't know what the answer is. So now I'm going to go ahead and write my tutorial question because that's the part of my confusion. And so I'm going to go ahead and write After simplifying both sides, I ended up with -6 equals -6. How do I know what x equals? Okay. You can also get a little fancy and come and insert a question mark if you like. If you search from the web and you insert question mark so that way you can identify where your point of confusion is. So something like that. Make it smaller. And I'm going to put my question mark right here because this is where I'm confused. I am left with no x's and I don't know what my solution is. So I can actually add that too. So what is x? And I am confused with basically what is solution, right? Okay, so that is an example of how you can complete a TRF. Um, Again, you want to make sure each box is filled out, and these first 3 boxes come straight from your source. The critical thinking part, feel free to take a picture and upload any work you have already completed along with your steps. And that POC stands for point of confusion. Okay. All right. I hope this helps out with you filling out your TRF.